It's been a while since I've done a video like this, so I'm just going to share some thoughts, share some opinions about what's taking place in the world of sealed, graded video games. A lot of this will overlap into the world of collectibles at large. I mean, graded video games aren't really unique in what's happening. The macro economy is kind of moving all together as far as collectibles go, but this will be more just about graded, sealed video games as we reach about the halfway point in 2023 already. That's nuts. So say thank you to every single patron who helps support the channel as well as the YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys, and let's talk about the market. So what prompted this video is that on Facebook, I saw that Brett, the owner of standardgaming.com, I'll talk about it in just a second if you don't know what that is, but he made a post saying, on Tuesday, we will be shutting down standardgaming.com. The video game market just isn't growing at a pace that supports the plan the four of us had originally envisioned, and we think it'll be a few too many years before that time comes. Essentially, standard gaming is not viable, they cannot stay open, it is not practical in this down market. So standardgaming.com is a fixed price marketplace where you could go and buy graded video games. They only deal in graded games, and for the most part, they have really fair prices. Now, at their core, they are a reseller, so they would go to some of the auction houses, be it Heritage, Golden, Hakes, PWCC. Quite frankly, there's so many damn auction houses, especially if you include eBay at this time, no single person can watch them all. It's almost impossible. So Standard Gaming would try to watch all of these auction houses, try to buy stuff for cheap at those auctions, and then they'd list it on their fixed market price and try to resell the game. They would also take brand new games, brand new Switch games, PS5, they would submit them for grading and then list those on the website as well. So you could get yourself like a 9.8 A++ Pokemon Arceus and it might cost you $179. So the minimum cost of you doing that yourself would be the brand new game for about $60, send it in for grading, another $50 or so. You're looking at over $100 to do it yourself, or you could just guarantee the basically perfect grade for, you know, again, a small markup. It's not unreasonable. But at its core, it was a reseller. It was a reseller platform. The whole point was to resell graded video games. And in a down market, in a market where people just aren't buying, where there just isn't that much interest, this business plan just can't exist. And them exiting the market now does actually mean that we might see certain games, certain auctions trend a little bit lower. This is someone who was purchasing items in this market. They were adding liquidity to this market purely for the sake of reselling. With prices being down, with prices being low, we do say this is a buyer's market that exists now because sellers don't have all the leverage, right? But in a lot of ways, it is still a seller's market in the sense that it's sellers and dealers selling to other sellers and dealers, and the amount of actual end consumers or buyers or collectors that exist in this market is still pretty low compared to the amount of sellers and dealers. Another longtime collector, Jonas, in that Facebook thread put it pretty well. You did a tremendous effort, but buy it nows just don't sell in a down market, and it's been 2 years of a down market. It was just rough timing no matter how perfect of a product you could have produced. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, Standard Gaming, as far as fixed prices, buy it now listings go, they were super fair with most of their pricing. And quite frankly, they're just aren't buyers for fixed prices right now. The people who are still in this market, be it buyers, sellers, resellers, whoever is still actually paying attention in the graded game world, probably are attending those auctions, probably are watching auctions on eBay. And so fixed prices, buy it nows just aren't that enticing. They still do work. There's still people who are very successful with it. Buy stuff off Heritage, Golden, whatever it is, post it back on eBay, make yourself some money. But in general, it's just not that viable in this kind of ecosystem. So in saying that, how is the graded market doing? Just how bad is everything? And for myself, watching almost every auction that does take place, or I try to anyway, we are still seeing slides in a lot of prices across a lot of consoles, across a lot of games. Corrections, dumping, prices going down, whatever you want to call it, that is still basically the norm in this market. Of course, like always, there are going to be certain segments, there are going to be certain pieces, there are going to be certain grails that always hold strong, that will sell strong, even in this kind of environment. But for the vast majority of stuff, we're still in a period of stagnation or even going down slightly more. So should you be buying stuff? Should you be waiting longer? What should you be doing in this market then? In actual investing in stocks, crypto, all that stuff, when the graph goes period or it starts just moving in very small volatility, a lot of people call that the accumulation phase. That's when whales buy stuff up. That's when normal people, retail investors, they buy up stuff. They start accumulating a position in the stock, the crypto, whatever it is. Those are frankly the boring times times in a market, the boring times in a hobby, but the boring times in these hobbies, markets, whatever it is, it's the boring times when you want to be active. That's when you want to be buying stuff. But now that a lot of the prices are going back to the same we saw in like 2020, 2019, now that prices are the lowest they've been in the past 3 years, it's always funny that no one's interested. The hype is gone, the dreams about making money, all of that's gone, and we're just left in this boring market where prices are pretty stable, prices are generally pretty low on a lot of stuff, and no one's interested. And I guess that's the biggest thing right now is how much organic interest is there going to be in graded video games? How many people want to collect sealed and graded video games? How many end customers are going to exist in this market that want this stuff? Because right now, I'll be honest, there's a dedicated group of people who do this, right? We have the Discord, we have the auctions. There's dedicated people in this hobby, make no doubt about that. But the number of people in this hobby is very low. It's very low compared to Pokemon. It's very low compared to sports cards, of course, coins, comics. Graded sealed video games is extremely low compared to all of those other hobbies. The more casual collector market, complete in box, loose cartridges, seems to be pretty normal as well. I don't really see people popping off about that or talking about how high prices are. Reddit game collecting itself seems to have less action these days than it did 6 to 12 months ago. So I do think there's stagnation in the general game collecting sphere as well, which, like I said at the beginning, this goes back to the macro economy just sucking. The economy sucks, money sucks, no one has money, so I mean, you can't really expect anything else to be happening right now than what is happening right now. But it is truly crazy just to see how much of this hobby was being driven purely by people who don't have any interest in owning this stuff. And like Jonas said, we're 2 years now since a downturn. I think we're 1 month away from the Super Mario 64 $1.5 million sale. We're almost at the 2-year anniversary of that sale. That's basically what a lot of people agree is the peak of the market. It's been all downhill since Mario 64 sold for 1.5 mil. PWCC even recently hired Josh Byerly to be their video game expert. I think that happened sometime November or December. They brought him on. PWCC was going to grow the video game department. And very recently, again, due to how bad the economy is, they actually got rid of Josh just as it started to pick up some steam. So it could still be some of these companies aren't taking the longevity of video games seriously still. They still see video games as this extra thing, which, I mean, like I said, compared to sports cards, Pokemon, comics, all those other hobbies, video games really are the other thing. But hey, if you're interested in this hobby, if you're interested in getting some of this stuff, if you do believe in the long term of video games, prices are extremely reasonable across the board. I myself am having a ton of fun buying stuff now that prices are down 70-80% versus what we were seeing in 2021. So I am personally having the most fun in this hobby that I have had in the past probably 3 years. It's fantastic, but you have to want to own this stuff. You have to want to be an end consumer. I do believe in this market long term. I do think a lot of this stuff is going to be more sought after in the future than it is now. But at the end of the day, I'm participating in this market because I want to own this stuff regardless of what happens in the future. And this hobby is still young, this hobby is still growing, and this hobby is still looking for more people who do want to own this stuff, who see value in holding, owning, displaying, caring about this stuff, rather than people who just see value in the future sale. And standard gaming isn't like this massive, huge reseller and we're immediately all going to see the effects of less liquidity. But with another person like this leaving the market, certain items, the certain games that they would target for reselling, there is potential now that people will be able to get those games at a better price. And there is potential that people selling those specific games may soon realize lower prices than they would have when standard gaming was up and running. Much more of a casual, unscripted type conversation here, but please do leave your comments down below. I want to know what you think of the current state of the graded and sealed game market. What are you doing? Are you buying? Are you selling? What are you thinking about? Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit the like button and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.